deal about this issue. The bigger the deal we make of this issue, the worse it gets. And the honest answer to the first part is, we were looking at capability that we needed to bring to the board rather than gender diversity. So I can, in retrospect claim that, we were looking at gender diversity and, all that. We needed at that time a certain consumer inciting kind of and challenging role in the board, and our first independent director with that profile was Rama, and now she happened to be a lady. So therefore, in fact, nowadays, nowadays I get mails and I'm wondering, how do I respond? Now, let's say she was Rama Rao, but you can read it as Rama Rao also. When you get, a profile saying, and nobody puts MS or Mr. nowadays, So you don't even know, thank you Mr. Rao or thank you Miss Rama. So many names are similar. Therefore, it doesn't really matter. So it is what, to us, the first independent director, and thankfully in the board we have always looked at capability, balancing the board itself. Now, having said that, let me go back to the company. I suppose most of you know that, let's say, 80% of our turnover and similar percentage of our profits comes from serving women. Jewelry, watches, eyewear, 50% of the watch business is for women, female customers. Similarly, eyewear, and 100% of jewelry is. So, within the company, we've had, certainly in marketing and in design, let us say, we've had to have women, and therefore sensitivity to women, and not just accepting, just we need it, the business needed. So I guess there was a natural inclination. So on the board, it has been quite clearly adding on capability, and as the board progressed from 2001 to, I think, the last inductee was in 2013, the board has seen value in the gender diversity, and it has gone on. So I really feel the first thing is about gaps in the board, which thankfully our board has really allowed or empowered management to identify, rather than the board, mandating. I'll tell you what I mean by gaps. And gaps are identified based on where you're headed rather than where you are at present. Let's take the present moment. I think everybody's talking about digital, e-commerce, and so on. So when you look for the next induction, you're looking for that future, somebody who can guide and so on. So, on the gender diversity, while we have, I think the reasons are our experience after the first induction, but the first one happened because of our need. And I can claim, of course, that we were very conscious of it, and then, but that is not the truth.
But have you found now benefit in
Yeah,
numbers?
significant benefit. See, we are used to, in business, to relate everything to market cap. Okay? So if you take the induction of every female member into the board and then saw the market cap, it has risen. So I can easily say, so more women on the board means more market cap. We do it all the time. I was just reading recently that I think only 15% of the Fortune 500 companies have women on their board. I mean, significant number of women on their board. And those which have women on their board have beaten the Standard and Poor index over the last 10 years. Therefore, you should have more women on the board. Now, we can, statistics can prove anything. And I'm not, maybe it's right, I'm not saying, but is it only because of that? Or is it despite that? Or is it just that you have better boards? So our experience has been at the board level, and now I can take two perspectives because I belong to the board as well as to the management. So let me start from the management's point of view on women on the board. Because of a large number of women in our in our, let's say, starting with leadership, where we are actually short. See, we have 25% on our board, but our total, in leadership is only 15%. So, obviously there's a gap. Management is not, kind of linked to this. But more importantly, I think having women on the board and of the stature of Hema and the others, the rest of the organization, women in the organization, look up to these roles and feel that, the company is respecting gender, and one day I can be, maybe not in this company, somewhere else. And of course, there have been instances of some of the leaders in our company going to other boards. So that is one big plus. The second is, and now, I'm not trying to gain some brownie points from Hema, but I think employees, both men and women in the company and senior leaders, naturally find it comfortable to talk to lady board members, whatever on the subject that they are dealing with, or somewhere there is a great deal of comfort. I think, or maybe we have been lucky, but I'm seeing in other boards as well, there is a certain, I think men have a certain, there is a certain barrier, we carry, we carry our designations with us. So if you're 3 levels below, you'll talk to my secretary versus, only if you're my peer. I don't think women have all that, they connect very easily. So that's the second thing, the one is the looking up, the second is certainly the senior team in my company feels comfortable taking any issue or problem, and these happen at offsites. And the last thing, I'm not being, maybe fair to the men on our board. I've seen all 3 lady members of the board reaching out, the reverse I'm saying, I'm not talking, reaching out to understand the company in greater depth than, the men have been around for a long time, so they understand it from the board engagement. Whereas the women have actually spent time post-board or outside the board trying to understand. And therefore, that engagement is of a different kind. It is softer. It's not about numbers and, the P&L and the margins and all. Yes, it is about that, but it's a little more strategic stuff and so on. So, on 3 counts, I find a difference.
Thank you, Bhaskar. There are some key skills, like Bhaskar said, that a board member needs, which come quite naturally maybe to women.
Yes.
Like, for example, understanding and questioning,
Yeah.
empowering, emotional resilience, intuitiveness, interpersonal sensitivity, maybe self-awareness, engaging in frank communication. And I think these roles, apart from, of course, the critical analysis and judgment, multidisciplinary, etc. So I think there may be, something that the gender plays to automatically in complementing the skills. Also, the roles that board members play have to be different. And that of a reflective listener is a very key one. And I think women, again, play to that very, very naturally. But Bhaskar, I want to now take you back away from Titan and zoom back, into the other boards. Because you're not just Titan. You sit on the boards of Trent, Tata Ceramics, Bosch, Rallis, educational institutions like the NITs, and you chair many of these boards, as well as you are a key member of the nominations and REM committees of these boards, which then take the board decisions. How has the conversation been in some of those organizations?
Well, at least one or two of them I joined the board later, and the women were already on the board. It was only in one case where that person was inducted after I joined the board. So if I were to take the general trend, I suspect that they inducted them because of the mandatory requirement. I suspect, because they have one. Each of them has one. So, therefore, when there was a skill gap or whatever capability gap, we went around looking for a lady who could fill that skill gap. So it was an additional qualification that you had to be a lady. Now, I think I read somewhere else too, but I am seeing now in actual practice, Hema, that this mandating helps. Once there is one person, and I am now advocating not for one, for two at least, but let me start with the one. I think the conversation changes, and you didn't probably, maybe it's there in those adjectives, but one thing that happens with women on the board is when a topic is particularly sensitive or a heated argument is taking place, women bring the temperature down. First of all, they bring because as soon as she starts speaking, everybody else listens. Maybe they're relieved. Okay, somebody's taken this subject off me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, and therefore, unlike maybe most other male members, everybody listens to the female members speaking. So that's a very big advantage, and we do all this jugaad sometimes, So if we have to get something done, we tell one of them, why don't you bring this up? Because you'll be heard. All this happens in boards, I can tell you. So in other boards, as I said, having inducted one, I think boards are learning, realizing the value. And I think there's therefore nothing wrong in, mandating this. I mean, for everybody to change and feel that you must have more members, difficult, but mandate. But I advocate two only because I think there is a comfort if there are two. There's a comfort versus, where typically boards are between 8 and 12. And if you're one of 8 or one of 12 is even, there's a greater comfort if there are two. I'm not saying mandating, but if boards can have two, then there is a certain comfort the two ladies will have in the board. So in other boards, as I said, I think they bring a perspective, all of that you said is so different. And I think they have the courage of consistently I have seen, the courage of conviction. If they're convinced about something, they will articulate without feeling embarrassed or feeling that you might get shot down or, you're like standing out like a sore thumb or something. You're not worried about. I've seen this consistently, probably also because people who have have reached a certain level in their professional career, and they speak their mind. And they speak their mind in a kind of an agreeable manner, which I find the male version doesn't do it. So, there are these styles which you have to be cautious, you have to be aware of. Because the board has to get its work done,
Rambling on.
Yeah, can't be rambling on, and then, you know, two polar, views come up and nobody resolves them. Of course, chairman's job it is to resolve all of those, but the women play a very, very important role in other boards also, I see.
So, to reinforce the point of legislation that
Yeah.
you said and the mandating, we talked about the pyramid and the leaking pipeline in the morning quite a bit. But if you look at India Inc., 28.7, 30% at junior management is women, about 15% in middle management, and about 9% in senior management. And it's very interesting statistic that I think the dip between middle and senior is one of the biggest in India. So it's not just the mommy track, but also the daughter's guilt. Because elder care and wanting to do something on your own rather than in an executive framework is one of the biggest reasons. So while you have 9%, and in the boards, before the mandate, it was 5%. Now, after the mandate, it is 13%. So you have a situation where the senior leadership, the CXO or the C-suite, is actually now lower than the boards.
Which is the case in our company as well.
Yeah. So what should organizations do to increase this percentage? What do you feel they should do? Because otherwise, of course, 50% of this 13% is non-independent. And that doesn't matter. If you have a key stake in the promoter group, you better be representing there in the board as well. And 50% is independence. But if you're sitting with a situation where 9% is this and 13%, then your pool is getting very small.
So, we also realized this about 4 years back, and we have consciously picked women with potential to take on roles. See, what you can't do, obviously in organizations there are rules and regulations and procedures and practices. So this vertical jump versus multiple exposure. So we have found that as a great route for everybody, of course, but rapidly moving the senior women through such programs builds great credibility for vertical movement as well. Therefore, just to give you some examples of, from marketing to field, back to chief of marketing, or from research to design to marketing, and from business to field. Now these, because a woman doing a field job, the organization itself wonders if these people can do. The organization, if it's able to take the risk, with obviously having evaluated whether, and then supports. So I would strongly, advocate that if it's not possible to move them vertically, because that may have political problems, in the company, and whereas multiple exposures and building them for general managerial roles is one way which we have found very credible, useful, and working for us.
Also, I believe giving them other roles, like
Yes.
ethics,
Right.
or some of those other things.
Adding on other, which are seen as corporate, work that needs to be done, but doesn't necessarily have a responsibility. It is in addition to your day job. And those, yeah, correct, those we find women coming up forward to do those, chief ethics counselor has a team of women, and similarly on other, corporate programs like World Class, we had a woman heading that, and therefore the credibility of being able to do what men do as well or better is established in those programs.
You alluded to this a little earlier, Bhaskar, but I want you to talk a little bit to this, because you're from a large group.
Yeah.
And there are openings in other companies.
Yes.
So how have you encouraged, that movement as well?
Well, to be candid, I wouldn't like to lose anybody to other companies.
No, but at least both.
I know. I'll just tell. Yeah. As far as boards are concerned, no, I mean, let me start with employees. Now, this a personal view versus a corporate view. I think it has proven to be very, very useful. I'm not talking about women alone now. If you take Harish Bhatt, for example, he started with us. No, he didn't start with us. He started at Tata Tea, came to us in one role for marketing for Tanishq, and then went out to Tata Teleservices, came back to Titan as COO of watches, and so on. And he has moved up. So the group has a fantastic way of exposing people, and we have stayed with that. We had Jamshed Dabu before that, and so on. And we have benefited also, the current Chief Digital Officer, for example. Therefore, specifically for women, it hasn't been, now the group is doing a lot of work in that area. But as a company, now we are making an effort to placing our senior women in other company boards. And we've started. That, I think, is a big wow for them also, because there's huge learning, apart from the fact that you got a designation as a board member. We've started, and we believe that it will only increase in pace. It helps the company as well, because they bring learning to back to the company. And this is one effort. The movement across the group is always a issue.
Did you face